Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist and I own 54 units of real estate. So I just posted a video talking about how my 53 units were affected by the recession, and it's a video that went viral. I haven't had a viral video in a while, but kind of some thoughts I want to add to that is, so in the video I kind of basically summarized that I have 54 units now. I have single family homes in California. And luckily in California, for the most part, the tenants have been the same tenants for a long time, and they have been paying on time. But I just have one tenant in Orange County where they've fallen behind on payments. I think they owe me about a month and a half of rent now. The rent is $4,000, and they were really good for most. I've had them for 4 years now. They've been really good for the past 4 years, but just this year, I don't know what they've been hit with, but that's when they just started struggling financially to pay on time. They do owe me, about $6,000 right now. And, I've been patient with them. And what I've kind of noticed is that they, for some reason, they're like, not communicating as much. And it might be either A, fear, B, maybe they're just ashamed, C, all the above. But, with them, I have to kind of probe a little bit more, in a nice way. I'm just asking, hey, like, when are you expecting to pay rent? Just let me know. And usually they do pay, but it's very sporadic, and you kind of have to be on them. And so it's not as passive compared to before. They just used to always pay on time, automated. So, take the good or the bad. So, I've been working with them, and like I said, they've been really great tenants. I have had no issues until this year. And ironically, the moment I renew their lease, that's when payments go bad. But welcome to real estate. But my other tenants, they've been great. One I've had since 2019. One I've had since 2020. One I've had for 3 years. Another one I've had is, well, they're just considered family, so no issues really there either. So my California ones, really great tenants. Haven't gotten burned. You hear horror stories in California. So I've been happy with that. The ones I've been hit the most are my C-class apartments in Oklahoma. So I own one in Oklahoma City. And this one, it's a 26 unit. I've always been hovering at around 90% occupancy. So out of the 26, 24 would be empty, 24 would be occupied, 2 would be empty. And just recently I got hit with a wave of maybe 4 to 5 tenants who haven't paid, and they happen to be in units that I haven't renovated yet. So I've been having to renovate the units, and it takes time, right? It takes let's say 4 to 6 weeks to renovate the units and then get them rented out, and maybe the rental market slowed down. So either A, we have to give in move-in specials, basically, which means you drop the rent, or you get a month free of rent, which is essentially dropping the rent. And then you might have to drop a little bit on your security deposit as well to attract people. And that's just kind of the nature of the game of C-class apartments. And for me, I'd rather have a vacancy versus having a tenant trash your property. So kind of someone put that in the comments, and it kind of hit me and gave me that perspective of, that's right. I'd rather, if a tenant trashed my unit, it's going to cost me $5,000 to $6,000 to repair it, and then longer to repair it, versus if I just do basic make readies, and let's say they just don't pay, I evict them. It's easy to evict in Oklahoma, over 15-day notice to evict. But if I just do basic rent readies, fresh coat of paint, a little touch up here and there, basic repairs, I can get that unit turned pretty fast. So I'd rather have that versus someone trash my unit. So I think one unit that we evicted was a hoarder unit, and I think I didn't renovate that unit yet. So now, it's available. I had to evict the tenant, and now I'm renovating it. So it's now putting in costs to renovate these units. So, I said in my last video, my 26 unit apartment complex is my LeBron James or my Stephen Curry of my real estate portfolio. It carries the team. And everybody that owns, or anyone that owns enough real estate, you all know what your best performing assets are, right? For me, it's my 26 unit. So my single family home rental properties are cash flow negative because I stripped out a lot of equity from them. I did a huge cash out refinance, used that equity to buy my 26 unit, to buy my 20 unit, and to buy my mobile home park, which I sold for a loss. I'm still carrying a note and second lien position on my mobile home park, which pays me about $2,200 a month. So I am cash flow negative on my single family home portfolio in California specifically. And that's supposed to be offset by my apartments in Oklahoma. But when my LeBron James of my real estate portfolio is injured, right? My 26 unit is now breaking even. So because of that, it's not able to carry the team of my negative cash flow single family homes. So that's why I'm cash flow negative on my deals, right? And same with my 20 unit. My 20 unit, that deal, it's probably my worst of the two apartment complexes. It's in Eden, Oklahoma. I kind of average around 3 vacants out of 20, so that's 17 out of 20. They're all one bedroom, one bath, and one bedroom, one bath by nature of it has more turnover. So if I were to sell one apartment, I would sell my 20 unit because that's more turnover. People don't stay as long, and I've had to evict more people in that 20 unit because I'm kind of near a downtown area. It's in the path of gentrification. I used to have a homeless issue in my apartment area. I think that's improved now, but still, it's more transient. So, like I said, if someone were to point a gun to my head and tell me I had to sell one apartment, I'd sell my 20 unit, take the money and use that to pay off my 26, or I could use that to go buy something else, right? So my 20 unit has always kind of been a break-even deal. And what's been kind of shooting me in the foot, my 20 unit, is because that one has more CapEx issues because they're C-class. So C-class apartments are, by definition, 1960s, 1970s. Yes, I did renovate the units, but the infrastructure has still issues, right? There's HVAC that you might need to replace. There's water heaters. You have the roof you might have to repair. You might have some plumbing issues that leaks in one unit and it leaks in the other, and it affects other units. So I've been kind of hit with a lot of that with my 20 unit. So, it's just the price you pay of doing C-class. And that's why a lot of people, they elevate from C-class apartments up to B-class and A-class. So it's where C-class is where you get your feet wet, to where you get your experience. And that's where you make your most money by doing value add. But as you become more seasoned, you want to progress to B-class or A-class apartments or A-class, B-class assets. So that's kind of where I'm finding myself falling into right now, right? So right now, I'm buying in Huntsville, Alabama. I own one single family home there. My one in Huntsville, Alabama has been good. I haven't had issues of evicting tenants, but rents have gone down in Huntsville, Alabama. Not because of anything bad. It's just because a lot of new construction is constantly being built. A lot of new apartments are being built and finally being finished. So the apartments are giving crazy incentives of 1 month free, 2 month free in order to fill up their units because they have a balloon payment due, right? So because of that, by nature of supply and demand, there's more supply, less demand, rents dropped, right? So it dropped from $2,100 at the peak to about $1,900 for my first one I bought in Tony, Alabama. That's a smaller market, but I bought 2 in Athens, Alabama, and apparently it's a hotter market because the school district's a bit better. Location. And I was able to rent out one for $2,150 for a 3-year lease, and then the other one, it's still being built, so I haven't rented out yet, but I'm hoping to rent that out for $2,150 as well. So, to me, overall, my portfolio has been hit by the recession, and people are saying it's not the true recession yet, but I think it's just more uncertainty, right, compared to when I bought in 2017, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So it's been more uncertain, and I've been hit a little bit more. And at my peak, which was last year, I was probably cash flowing $8,000 to $10,000 a month. But now, after getting hit in the face with more vacancies, more repairs, more expenses, and rents going, being stagnant or going down, because maybe rents are going down because I have to offer incentives, and expenses going up, like property taxes going up, insurance is going up. So you just you're getting slapped in multiple directions, right? And I've been tracking my expenses for the past 2 months, and I'll see for this month in September, but I've been negative $4,000 a month for the past 2 months. But keep in mind, the months prior to that, I was positive cash flow, right? And so overall, net, I'm still not negative for the year, But for this one specific past 2 months, I've been negative $4,000 a month, and I'm guessing, if I were to guess, I haven't run my numbers yet, I'm probably negative $4,000 a month this month as well. So, and one thing to keep in mind is, yes, I'm negative $4,000 a month. So obviously I cannot live off this portfolio for that month. But overall, when you make a mortgage payment, what are you paying down? You're paying down your principal and your interest. So the principal goes to me. It helps improve my net worth. So I haven't tallied it in a while, but I think I'm like around 40,000-ish of loan payments. And remember, of that 40,000, remember, majority goes to interest and a little bit goes to principal. So out of that 40,000, let's just call it 8,000 of it, which is 20%, goes down to principal pay down. So that's $8,000 of increasing my net worth. So even though my cash flow is negative $4,000 that month, really that's a forced savings account. It's going down to my principal pay down, which is still increasing my net worth. So despite being negative $4,000 a month, my net worth still increased because I had a lot of principal pay down, right? I had a lot of principal pay down. So overall, my net worth did increase, right? But to people's point, you can't live off of net worth and equity. You live off of cash flow. But luckily for me, because I'm playing real estate long game, and I know it's a 10 to 15 year journey. I'm on year 8, right? I'm on year 8 out of 10 years, and this is the first time I've kind of been slapped in the face with tough times, whether it's a recession or not, right? This is 2017. I basically bought during the bull market. So a lot of investors that have never experienced the downturn of 2008, never experienced the dot-com boom. So I kind of knew I never experienced it. So I tried to bake in reserves to cover myself. So one thing was, I never lived off my rental income, right? Whatever rental income I have, I just put it in reserves. And I save that for repairs, for the bad times like right now. So, the money I made, the $4,000 I made maybe a couple months ago was just sitting there for a bad time like right now. So, and even if I had no reserves sitting in my business bank account, between me and my wife, we try to keep like $300,000 like liquid cash in a high yield savings account, earning 3-4% for a rainy day. Because I want to assume the worst case scenario, right? And maybe I haven't assumed as much yet, but we have $300,000 in cash. On top of that, I have a line of credit against my stock portfolio, and my stock portfolio, for context, is $500,000 plus in a brokerage account, and I have a line of credit against that, and my line of credit is like about $360,000. So I don't even have to sell my stocks. I can use a line of credit against my stocks if needed, or if I need, I just sell my stocks and use that. So that's another hedge against the recession. Another thing that I'm doing is I still work a W-2, right? I still make $250,000 plus, and despite that, I still, despite having a mortgage of between me, I paid my portion is $3,700, which is half. Like, me and my wife don't spend that much money. Like, we have groceries, we have things that we go out. We don't have kids yet. We pay for our car insurance. Health insurance is subsidized through work, but we still pay our portion. Like, we still go out, but like me and my wife, we still live very humbly and frugally. Like, despite me being worth, $7 million plus, despite owning 53 units, despite having such a large reserve, we don't spend that much money. So I always have net margin every month, right? Like, I think my savings rate is pretty high. Like, I max out my 401k every year. I max out my IRA every year. I max fund whole life insurance. I have 2 policies, an IUL to VUL. That's not for everybody. That's only for those who have high net worths, in my opinion. So, because of that, I still have my W-2. I still work. And then on top of that, I'm still building other streams of income, right? That's why I do YouTube. I don't make much from YouTube, but I'm just trying to build up my personal brand. Hopefully I can teach you guys something, right? Because what I didn't like was when I was watching content, people just sold you hopium, sold you that real estate was quick and easy, and sold you that you can retire easily off of your real estate income. But that's not true. Like, how many Instagram reels have you seen that someone just bought one apartment complex and now they're retired with $10,000 a month? I'm like, I know the reality of it, right? I own 2 apartment complexes, and yeah, maybe my best month I can cash flow $10,000, But is my best month every month? No, right? So what's more realistic is you take your monthly net cash flow, let's say it's $10,000 a month, cut that by 25%, cut that to 25%, so that's $2,500. So in my portfolio, where I average $10,000 a month, I can comfortably live off $2,500 a month. That's not enough for me to live right now, right? Especially if I have a mortgage, right? That's not enough for me to live. So that's why I still work, right? That's why I still work. So for me, I take an ultra conservative approach to like my investing portfolio, knowing that I never experienced a recession, I never experienced a bad time. So I'm using this time to reassess my strategy, right? And that's what you should be doing, right? Because real estate isn't like what worked to build me 90 units at one point may not work today because in my different situation, because maybe I'm in a situation where I don't want to work anymore. Then my current portfolio does not work, right? My portfolio will not work if I have no W-2 or if I don't have other active income. My portfolio only works because I have active income. I'm not living off my real estate income. When it's good, I'm not living off of it. When it's bad, I'm not living off of it. I'm living off my W-2 income. And my W-2 income affords us a upper middle class lifestyle, right? Or middle upper class lifestyle. But the moment I want to step away from my W-2, my strategy needs to change. So what changes is that going to be? That's going to, and you guys hit the nail on the head in the comments. I read most of the comments. I'm going to have to sell. I'm going to have to sell probably 2 my high equity single family homes. One I'm going to sell to use that, pay taxes, pay off my primary residence. So no more mortgage, no more $5,500 a month mortgage. I'm only stuck with $2,000 a month between my property tax, my insurance, my HOA, my utilities, right? It's still $2,000 a month, believe it or not, but it's cheaper than rent. The other property I need to sell, I need to do that to basically own some properties free and clear, right? And it's probably gonna be my apartment complexes if I decide to keep them, right? They are more headache, but my 26 unit is my cash cow. My 20 unit, if I were to sell one, I'd probably sell that one, right? So I could sell my single family home, pay off my 20 unit. I could sell another single family home and then pay off my other apartment complex. So now I would have sold 3 single family homes, go down from 54 units down to 51 units, but own my primary free and clear, my 26 unit free and clear, my 20 unit free and clear. That's 47 units out of 51 units free and clear. So just by wiping debt off the table, it would increase my income by $5,000 a month. So I would lower my expense by $5,000 a month by having no mortgage, increase my income by $5,000 a month. So that's a $10,000 swing. So that's the type of portfolio I would need if I don't want a W-2, I don't want active income. But because I'm not at that point yet, I'm still okay with my W-2 job. I'm okay with my current situation unless things drastically change during the recession over the next 5 years, right? But if I need to pivot, I'll pivot, right? So, for me, I'm trying to test my portfolio and see how it does. And that's why with my apartment complexes, even though like my 26 unit, I bought for $500,000, I put $300,000 all in, I'm all in for $800,000. It's worth about $1.5 million. I never cashed out refinance it. I could have easily cashed out refinance my 26 unit, pull out my down payment, pull out my renovation costs, and pull out extra money on it. But now I'd be at a higher loan amount, at a higher interest rate, and I'd be cash flow negative on that deal. So I'd be even more stressed. So I'm glad I didn't cash out refinance that 26 unit because it's my cash cow. It's my LeBron James of my real estate portfolio. So, that's what's nice about, like, for me, when I paused for the longest period of time. Like, I haven't bought from 2022 all the way up until like 2025. Recently, in 2025, I bought 3 properties. I bought all 3 Lennar. I bought my primary residence. I bought my another one in Huntsville, Alabama, and I bought a third one in Huntsville, Alabama. And I bought those all cash using my lazy burst strategy. So basically, I just bought all cash at a discount, did a cash out refinance on it, put all my money because I got a discount, and then I own that deal with $0 of my money in the deal, and it breaks even, right? So I'm buying new construction with $0 in the deal, and I'm able to pull that money out to keep as my reserves, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. So kind of what I'm seeing in this phase of optimization at least of right now, I may change my mind later, is I am basically pruning my portfolio. Like, if I want to retire, I know I need to sell to take debt off the table, right? And also I'm buying newer properties. So now I'm focused on buying newer properties that have less maintenance, less headache, and better tenants, right? So I've experienced both. I've experienced the A-class tenant in California and the C-class tenant in Oklahoma, and kind of A-class in Huntsville as well. So now that I've kind of experienced both, after I built my wealth, I've kind of seen that, you know what, I kind of want to stay in the A-class tenant domain because that just fits my investing strategy right now. And, you know, I want less headache, and I want newer properties as well. So I'm upgrading my properties. Like, my C-class are 1970s. My California ones are like 1960s. But I want that 2025 new construction, and it's you don't have to worry about the roof, the HVAC, the water heaters, and by the time they get old, I can sell them and 1031 exchange it to buy newer ones, right? So I kind of want to invest in that new construction. So that's what I mean. Like, your real estate strategy is constantly evolving based on your situation. Like, for me, I don't care to get the best ROI anymore because I built up a net worth, right? I know that right now, if I want to retire in the next 6 months, like I said, I have to sell 3 properties and then start using that money, pay the taxes to own properties free and clear and have a large reserve. And, you know, for me, that still would work in a capacity, but not full time. Like, maybe I just do my side business. Maybe I become a realtor. Maybe I just work as a pharmacist 1 or 2 days a week, right? So I just make it a lot easier. So I know I can achieve that right now. So, you know, I hope when I say I'm negative cash flow, I'm not whining. I'm not trying to whine. People interpret it that way. But I'm just more of trying to state the facts and the truth and the transparency, because I feel like a lot of the real estate YouTubers will not share this, right? And you guys know, you listen to Bigger Pockets, they just tell you the best case scenario. They don't tell you the scenario, and the scenario changes, right? Like, 1 month I'm doing great, 1 month I'm doing bad, 1 month I'm doing great, 1 month I'm doing bad, right? So I'm just fully transparent with you guys. You guys know that. You know, I tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. So, you know, and right now, for the longest time, I paused because I'm like, I just don't want to always scale. Like, you want a small and mighty portfolio. You want a portfolio that fits your lifestyle and your needs, and your situation is going to change, right? Like I said, my portfolio works because it's assuming I have a high income W-2. But the moment you remove a high income W-2 out of the equation, my strategy does not work, and I need to sell, right? Or if I get completely sick of real estate, like, let's just say I want nothing to do with real estate anymore. Right now, I'm not that mindset, but maybe in 5 years, 10 years, my mindset will change. I could just sell my portfolio. You know, let's say I'm at 6 million. I'd probably pay $1 million in tax, so I had $5 million left. $1 million would go to pay off my primary residence. I have $4 million left. I could take that $4 million and dump it into the S&P 500, assuming an average rate of return of 7%. I live off the 4% rule. So if you add that $4 million to my current million, I have $5 million in index funds. 4% of $5 million is $200,000 a year, doing nothing, passive. And I have a paid off house. So I have $200,000 that I can live off of in a paid off house. So that's, what is that? That's like, what, $15,000 a month, I think. That's about $15,000 a month. And $2,000 goes to just my living expense because it's paid off. And I have another $13,000 to do whatever I want. And me and my wife, we're very frugal and very conscious of how we spend. So I can easily mitigate and make $13,000 a month after my living expense work for a family of 4. Easily, right? Because we're very conscious of how we spend. And then if there's a bad month in terms of like our stock portfolio, we can trim if we need to, but we have reserves. And we're still going to make some sort of income, not the same income that we're making, but we'll still make income. So because me and my wife are that flexible of our expenses, and even right now, we're very good of our expenses, I know I hit financial freedom. So that's, I know some people were calling me out saying, well, how are you financially free if you're negative cash flow? Well, this is hell, right? Like, I literally, if I wanted to, 3 to 6 months, snap my fingers, sell some real estate, and then be in this position. I quit my W-2 job. So when you built up a net worth, when you built up, a portfolio like mine, you have options. And I have a lot of good options I can take. So to pivot to fit around my lifestyle, but not many people have that luxury if you haven't built up that portfolio. So that's what I mean by I just hope to inspire you guys. And for those of you who follow me, I didn't come from money. I just came from immigrant families from Vietnam. My parents don't know real estate. They don't like real estate. They still don't know I own real estate to this day, right? Because they don't believe in it. So for me, I took the leap of faith. I took the risk. I saved money. I took risk, and it paid off. And now I need to manage my risk and change my strategy to fit what works best. And like I said, my situation is going to change, right? Maybe I retire from my W-2 and I sell some properties to take some debt at the table. But all of a sudden I start a business, and that business makes more money than I ever made as my W-2. And at that point I can scale my portfolio again. So there's no wrong answer to anything, right? It's just really what fits your lifestyle and how do you mitigate risk. So sorry for this long video, but just wanted to share my thoughts and how I mitigate risk. If I were to summarize it, is number one, I still have active income through my W-2 job, and I'm building another source of active income through YouTube, through coaching, through maybe becoming a realtor one day. But I still have my active income, and it's a high income W-2, right? As a pharmacist making over $250,000, and I'm still hustling and trying to build another stream of income, right? On top of that, I keep my expenses low. Like I've never lifestyle inflated in all phases of my life, and this has helped me have margin to invest money, to save money, right? Because of that, that's how I've got to where I am today. I still have fun, don't get me wrong, but I'm very intentional in how I spend my money. Like if I travel, I use points a lot of times to cover my flights. We don't stay in the greatest hotel. We don't stay in like 5-star hotels. We stay in 3-star hotels. We travel to Southeast Asia because it's so much cheaper compared to Europe. We don't fly first class, even though I can afford it. So we don't always eat at Michelin star restaurants. We eat street food because street food is just as good, in our opinion. We wait to buy things on sale, right? So we're very intentional how we spend our money. And me and my wife are both that way. So because of that, we're able to save a lot of money, have margin, invest that margin. The next thing too is we have a large amount of cash reserves. Like I said, we have over $300,000 of cash reserves between me and my wife in a high yield savings account. That's a lot of money, right? Just sitting there. On top of that, in my brokerage account, I have over $500,000 just sitting there as well, liquid. And I have a line of credit against that, so that if I need it in an emergency, I can use my line of credit to cover that, or just sell my stocks. Or worst case, I have another $500,000 in my 401k, which I can take a loan against if needed, to then cover myself. On top of that, I'm probably gonna get HELOCs on some of my rentals that I do keep as an emergency reserve. On top of that, me and my wife both work. On top of that, if needed, if truly needed, my parents can help me in a pinch, right? I hope to never ask them, but in a pinch, they can help me. So I have all these safety nets that I built throughout the 13 years. And for me, even on top of that, if things got tight, I lost my job, my rental properties are doing poorly, I have more vacancies, I don't mind renting out a room or two in our house. Yes, it sucks, it's inconvenient with the deal of people, but I know it's temporary. I'll just rent it out for 3 to 6 months until I got my job back, or until Christine got her job back, because I know it'll take me about 3 to 6 months to get a new job, right? So we're scrappy, right? So we'll make it work no matter what, right? And that's another skill set that I have, that I've built and learned from my parents, is I'm very scrappy. I will make it work. I'll do whatever it takes to make it work, right? I'll drive Uber if I need to, right? Maybe my car has self-driving. It can drive without me, right? Become a Waymo car. My car's self-driving me right now as I film my videos. So it's really being scrappy and knowing how to pivot, right? Yes, does renting a room suck to tenants? Yes. But is it temporary and it can help you build wealth? Yes. Can help you get out of a bad situation? Yes. So you have to be flexible, right? You have to be flexible. For me, I'm not above anything. I'm worth $7 million. Yes, I could sell everything and roll around money all day, but I'm still scrappy because I want to build wealth. But yes, the moment I have kids, maybe I don't want to be as scrappy, right? Maybe I don't want to be as scrappy. So you have to make a sacrifice. So I've chosen my sacrifice, and my sacrifice was to live humbly, to invest money, to reinvest money back into my real estate business, and then one day I can just step away from my W-2 at 40 years old and not have to work a single day of my life if I don't have to ever again. That's the sacrifice I made, right? So, that's just the reality of it. And that's why I try to create content to be real. Because if you look at most people, like most people who post those hopium content reels, look what they're doing, right? They're still making a massive active income. And that massive active income is what's supporting them to flex, right? But for me, I put every single dime back into real estate if I could. That's why I still live humbly. Even if I was making $10,000 a month from my real estate portfolio, I would reallocate that back to real estate because I'm saving it for a rainy day. I'm saving it for the next deal. So I'm in growth mode still, right? But like I said, the moment I don't want to work anymore, I'll leave growth mode. And then I will pivot towards selling and stabilization mode and harvesting mode and chill mode, right? But I'm not there yet. I still want to work. Still making great money in my W-2. It would be a shame to give that up right now. But once I have kids, once I have a family, and once my priorities change, I will flip the switch. And then at that point, I don't have to work anymore. So don't get me wrong. My portfolio is hit by the recession. I am cash flow negative for the past 2 months, but I was cash flow positive for a year before that. So I built up reserves, which is now covering this negative today, right? So that's the whole point of reserves, is for a rainy day. So hopefully you took some nuggets from my journey. Hopefully you took some nuggets as to how I built a fortress around my portfolio so that I don't get slapped by the recession. People are cheering for me to fail, to lose my real estate, but I've listened to the advice of Dave Ramsey. I've listened to advice of others who've gotten burned from 2008, and I've built a lot of moats to mitigate that, but who knows, right? I can still get screwed. But I figured if I get screwed, then everything else must be really bad, right? And I'll be scrappy. Like, I'll pick up another job. I will work overtime. I'll pick up another job, work extra shifts. I will do whatever it takes to make more money, right? Desperation breeds invention, right? So if I'm really desperate, I haven't been desperate in a while, but if I'm desperate, I'm sure that it will open up new opportunities for me. So anyways, sorry for the long rant. Hopefully you found value. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what questions you have. Give me your thoughts. For some reason, if I include the word recession in a video, it does better than my other videos. So this is another one saying that what I would do if my portfolio got hit by a recession harder, and if I lost my job from a recession, because layoffs are happening in healthcare, right? So I just outlined exactly what I would do. So anyways, if you want to connect with me, if you want to join my school community, if you want coaching, mentorship, just send me an email, click my link down below. If you want a landlord insurance daily quote, click on my link as well. Otherwise, hope to see you in the next one, and please like, comment, subscribe. Thank you so much.